So you know, in the book, the Cheng Hsin, the Principles book, right, in one place they say, you know, and this is relative to the martial work, see, the art and whatnot. You have to study, you know, and practice and contemplate. You have to do all these things. You can't just contemplate. You can't just practice, and you can't just study, because they're all different. They all contribute different aspects to it. It's kind of like, remember when you were talking about Einstein saying he would basically think 99 times and then go quiet. See, there's different things. The study, you're studying your whatever, you know, your art or whatever it is you're investigating. So you study it, you observe it, you try to grasp it, you put, you know, your attention on it. See, this is, you know, mostly intellectual. You grab from experience and you know, think about it, try to think it through, you try to catch the flaws in your thinking stuff. You see, you do that. You ponder the matter. You do that. That's necessary, and that's also what creates the fertile ground for contemplation and practice. You see, you know, contemplation all by itself is, you know, like, what are you going to contemplate? Okay, you have to have a subject matter. You have to have attention, you know, driven in some direction. You have to know what it is you're talking about. It usually comes through a bunch of study. So your studies. And practice, of course, gives you the reality, gives you the feedback. It keeps the feedback coming. See, practice, you put it to practice, whatever it is that we're talking about. See, so you practice it. In the arts, it's obvious, you know. And from the practice, you have, once again, feedback, and that alters your study. What am I missing? You know? How come I'm falling short? Whatever. And then you know, study the matter, think about the matter, whatever, and go back in, practice some more, back and forth, and you also contemplate. And like, what is this? What's really going on here? And you use a different kind of approach, so to speak. The more kind of to be conscious, you know, shooting for insight or realization, or maybe direct consciousness, but I'm not talking just about direct consciousness. I'm just saying, you know, you're trying to really grasp what's going on here beyond just studying and thinking and concluding. You see. And it's the studying and thinking and concluding that gives you the as I say, the fertile ground to contemplate. Okay? It gives you the subject matter. It gives you the field. You see. And it's the contemplation that gets you beyond the conclusions, beyond intellect, you know, to have an insight or realization about something. And it's the practice that keeps you honest. It's the practice that, well, it makes you good. I mean, you know, makes it real and gives you the feedback you need in order to make correction and improvement and whatnot. At least that's the way it seems to me. Yes, sir?
Is the contemplation part, does that apply to all forms of physical mastery, do you think?
It can apply to anything you want it to apply to. You can contemplate any matter at all. If you're contemplating for, you know, like what we call direct consciousness of something, that's the nature of it itself. That's that particular field of contemplation, if you like. But, you know, you can contemplate what is communication. You could contemplate what is physical skill. You could contemplate what is music. You can contemplate what is a note. Or whatever, you know. You could contemplate what's the difference between great music and crap? You could contemplate it. And then, you see, you could also study it. So you observe and try to, what's the distinction here? So you're making a distinction. And maybe you're not making a very fine distinction. Or maybe, you know, it's kind of a sloppy distinction based on hearsay. Well, people say this is great, and people say this is crap. Or you're making a distinction based on what you like. I like this, so it's great, and I don't like this, so it's crap. See, and that might not be the distinction that really is powerful in the matter. You know, what is great music and what is crap. And there might be another distinction, you know, that you work on, you study and you observe. It's like, why? Okay. And then you could also contemplate that. But you know, you can contemplate anything.